Tyler, the creator, has officially started his new album rollout, and I'm super excited because we've gotten the Billboard of Call Me If You Get Lost. We've gotten a video teaser of Side Street and a bunch of other information, guys. So stay tuned till the end to hear all about this new Tyler album and our actual expectations and predictions for the project. And let us know your expectations in the comments below, and subscribe because we will be covering the review once this project finally comes out. So how are you feeling about getting a new Tyler album, man?
Man, I'm super hyped. Man, he's gearing up to be dropping a great album, and based on, the type of information we've gotten, and, like even some of the snippets that we've heard of the production in the studio, like let's say the one, I think it was him in Switzerland or something, where he was in his big studio and like
it was a crazy view in the background.
It was a beautiful, I'm not sure what country he was in, but like, hearing that sort of production, hearing the rap features that he's done in the past, I am super hyped for this album. And he's gearing up probably to release, one of the best projects of his career, because look at the past two runs. I mean, you have Flower Boy in 2017, and then obviously you have Igor in 2019. So, he's going to be following this 2-year step, and
so
fuck it, he might be dropping a classic.
Yeah, so on June 9th, we actually got the Billboard that appeared, I think it was like on Sunset Boulevard or somewhere in Los Angeles, and it said, "Call me if you get lost," and you had a 1-800 phone number. And of course, nothing said that it was Tyler, but once you call that actual phone number, you get to hear a voicemail. And that voicemail is actually a conversation between Tyler and his mother, Louisa. And his mom is telling him, like, I think she's talking to someone else too. I think other people are in the conversation, and she's saying how, like, she has a lot of love for her son. She would take a bullet for him, and how she wouldn't take any shit from other parents growing up, and how she always stood up for her son. And you kind of hear Tyler's voice saying, "I agree with you." And there's actually a second version of the voicemail. And when I call the number, that's the version that I get. It's about 25 seconds long. And it sounds like Tyler's talking. You kind of have this woozy instrumental. And he's pretty much saying, "I'm not sure why you left. You don't even have a passport."
So yeah, that's cool.
So
maybe we're going to be getting another like love concept.
Another concept album, man. That's what I'm feeling right now.
I know, and he's already starting to like project it throughout the rollout. So, what do you think about the start of the rollout? Like, how do you like, do you like the teasing?
Oh, it's
like,
so creative, man. Honestly,
like
there's no one that's doing, these rollouts like this anymore. And this is exactly what we need. This is what you can come to expect from Tyler, because these projects are always events. They're always experiences. And right now, it just feels like a movie. And that was, put out on full display on June 14th, 2021, when he released the Side Street teaser video on Instagram and on Twitter.
And there was 2 different versions for them, right?
There were 2 different versions. And
which one did you like better, by the way?
I think I definitely liked the one which was posted on Instagram and YouTube, and it's the one where after he's done making out with the girl, he reverses the car and just randomly disappears.
Yeah, it's
out
fire.
of nowhere. It's insane.
And then the boyfriend shows up with the dog and like that.
Yeah, and just the visuals of it. It seems like they're in the Hollywood Hills, and it has this very vintage vibe. He's driving this pink Fiat, and he doesn't seem to be in character. And what's interesting is that for every Tyler album, he's portrayed a character. If you look at, just the cover arts and the actual content for albums like Cherry Bomb, for Flower Boy, for Igor, he's always portraying someone new. But here it seems like he's just Tyler. Or maybe, this is kind of a theory I have. Of course, on Igor, we had the concept of Tyler, his male love interest, and the girl that was in the love triangle, the male interest was going back towards her and Tyler, and ends up going back to the girl. So maybe Tyler is portraying his own male love interest on Igor. Maybe this is a continuation of the Igor storyline. I don't know, man. There's a lot of possibilities out there right now.
There's definitely a lot of possibilities. And every time you go into a Tyler album, I love these new refreshing themes that go into it. Like, talk about Flower Boy and like, how he was portraying himself at a time where, he was starting to show his full personality, and he was really coming into his own, not only as an artist, but as a person. And you not only heard it in the content matter, but you heard it in the diversity of the production. Then we talk about Igor, how he completely took a 180 on his production. And it was something that felt more, indie based, and something that had, maybe a bit more pop elements to it, and it wasn't a full hip hop and rap album. And now you could see how maybe he's gonna blend in those 2 things and go into something completely new. So that's what I'm happy about.
Do you think "Call Me If You Get Lost" is the official album title?
I don't know. I think so, because like we've seen it in the trailer, we've seen it on the Billboard. Like, you kind of make sense for where the vibe of the album is going. So I feel as if like, I like that theory with him having a sort of continuation off of Igor, because maybe the whole thing is like, Tyler is trying to go back to that Igor Igor persona, like, and he's going through his trials and tribulations and going through that journey. So
But yeah,
that's kind of like what I'm getting.
and you
out of
also
it.
see "Call Me If You Get Lost" written on the actual tire of that pink Fiat that's in the Side Street video, which is super interesting. But apart from that, you can also the reason why I think it might not be the title is because, like I was saying earlier, Wolf, that's an album title that reflects a character. Goblin also reflects a character. Flower Boy reflects a character. Call Me If You Get Lost, not really. Maybe he's trying something new. Of course, you can never take that out of the equation. But either way, I mean, the progression and the trajectory of Tyler's discography has been flawless. And he's one of those rare artists where his music is getting better with every single release. And I think that he's at a point now that's a very interesting point because he just had his first #1 album with Igor. I think he's now at a point where people are finally realizing his creative genius, and he finally has the fan base fully behind him. So he's gearing up to drop his biggest album yet and probably his best album yet.
Absolutely. And then after that, you take to Instagram, and I believe this was on June 14th. And by the time we're recording this, it was yesterday. So if you go through all of his Instagram captions on his recent photos, he changed the captions of the photos to his track list and the sequencing to it. So, it seems like some tracks are missing and, these are not really confirmed, but it seems like, hey, this might be something new. And there's obviously an indication towards a track list here, or else he wouldn't have done it. And he knows people are going to pick up on it. So if I go through this track list, at #1 you have Innocent, which is original 1995. You have No Vacancy at #2 with featuring Westside Gunn. Wow, I'd be super down for that feature. Already you're starting to understand that there's maybe a hip hop vibe going on. At #3 we have Three Kings, Hove only version.
Is that going to be a song with just Hove?
I don't know.
No Tyler?
I don't know. But you don't get #4, but you do get #5 named Clever. At #6 you get New Magic Wand Grammy version. So who knows? Maybe he's putting a cut from the Grammys on this, and maybe he's going to have sort of a filler track within it. I don't know. It doesn't matter because at #7 we don't really have anything. But at #8 we have Do I Do. At #9 we have Cherry Pie Buju. Then at #10 we have Sweet. #12 and #13 are not yet indicated. And at #14 it's very interesting because we have a song called Blue Magic with AP Rocky and Iggy Pop. So that's quite a diverse track list right there already, if like this is what we're going after.
I'm just happy that the Wangsat boys are reuniting because every time that they link up, if it's on Who Dat Boy, if it's on Potato Salad, it's just the chemistry's out of this world, and the balance between their voices and, kind of their cadences is always beautiful. And they kind of don't necessarily use the same type of production, but it ends up working out every time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's able to really gauge you into where he's going, and he's able to put you into this alternate universe, which is Tyler's universe. And that's why the track list is so important. And already, let's say this is a 14-song track list. That's a fire amount of tracks.
Yeah.
Like, that's perfection.
I think Igor was only 12, so it's around that range. And
I think that's where he's most comfortable and where he does his best.
Yeah, and what's interesting too now is that like people are speculating that this might be a jazz rap album, maybe something similar to Flower Boy. But what's interesting is that it does seem kind of from the teasers that we're getting and the branding for the Call Me If You Get Lost, all those colors, the stars, it does seem like it's a continuation of Igor. So I don't really know. But what's interesting too is that Schoolboy Q was recently on a live stream, and he says that this album apparently sounds nothing like Igor and that Tyler goes in really hard.
That's crazy.
So how do you feel about that? Ooh. Because Tyler on his feature run has showed us that he can still rap along the best of them.
Well, that's what I think. I think maybe the thematic basis is going to maybe carry a storyline from Igor. And even at that, I'm a bit iffy about it just because if you look at his discography and the way he's evolutionized, it's always something more upgraded and something that's different than everything
he's
else.
Also moved away from hip hop in a sense, right?
But the thing is that I feel as if now he's coming back to it because look at the feature runs, right? Like something like 327. I think he's been gearing up, not only his fan base, but, all of hip hop's fan base
preparation maybe
for this new hip hop sound. And if you look at most of his features, a lot of it is, coke rap features. So, that also has an indication that maybe this new sort of sampling and jazz production may be something that he introduces into this new project. And that's what I'm really excited for, is that it's one big fucking mystery. You're not going to know anything until you get that first single, or maybe until you get into the actual track list from start to finish. Because that's another thing. You go into a Tyler album, you're out of your mind if you don't go from like start to finish and listen to the whole sequencing of it. Because another thing I want to hear is how he's gonna place this track list, start to finish. How is it gonna sound? How is it gonna sound cinematic? Because that's what I had gotten from Flower Boy and Igor, was that cohesiveness. So what are some things that you're looking for in like the whole track list?
Honestly, it's interesting because as much as I love to hear Tyler rap, I love what he did on Something to Rap About, also on TD from Lil Yachty. I just love those gritty, aggressive kind of deliveries from Tyler. But at the same time, I just feel like he was finally perfectly honing in on that neo soul sound that he started building with Flower Boy, and then he pulled off the R&B and funk sounds with those very trippy synthesizers on Igor masterfully. So it's like, I want him to kind of push even further and go beyond as an artist musically and show me what other genres he could tackle. But either way, I'll be happy with whatever I get because, like I said earlier, Tyler's albums are just getting better with every drop.
His consistency within his discography is fucking impressive.
Totally.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, and speaking back on that Igor continuation, I feel like it's possible because Are We Still Friends kind of leaves us on a note where there is a conflict that's not resolved because Tyler's pleading for his love interest to kind of, be friends with him. And the thing is that it seems like he's moved on, but he hasn't really moved on. So maybe this project will be him trying to find that love interest, hence Call Me If You Get Lost, because the love interest has gone away. Or maybe it'll be him taking revenge on his love interest and coming in harder and with, more aggression and more of a menacing cadence, which relates to the whole rap thing. Maybe, I don't know. I really
There's a
feel
lot of
like
question marks.
It should be a continuation because it would make for a great storyline.
It would make for a great storyline, and this would probably be one of the first times in Tyler's discography where there is a storyline within his discography. So who knows? Like building off of something like Igor would be a smart decision, but either way, I would be down for any creative decision.
And when do you think the album's gonna drop? If you had to speculate right now.
Okay, so I got a couple of notes here from you, and it's interesting because he is actually headlining quite a few festivals, and he's actually doing quite a run with his performances. So Lollapalooza in Chicago on July 29th.
July 23rd, I believe. Or is it 20?
It's 29th.
29th? Okay.
Yeah, then we have Bonnaroo in September of 2021, and then he's obviously performing at Day in Vegas in November.
So he's probably dropping before July.
I think so. And he may carry this rollout towards the end of the year, which would be super smart for him because think about how long the post rollout had lasted for Igor. Like, he had also done a big mega tour for it, and he actually stopped in our home city of Montreal. And my little sister Faith, shout out Faith, actually said that it's one of the craziest shows that she's ever been to, and like the mosh pitting was crazy, especially for like Igor was a bit of a softer album, but like she said that people were going absolutely crazy,
100%.
and Tyler's crowd control is fantastic. So if you had to put a prediction on when it would come out, when would you say?
It's interesting, and I do have to give my respect to Tyler because he's been one of the most consistent artists of the 2010s. He's kept up that 2-year pattern of dropping an album every 2 years for his first 5 studio albums, and now it looks like he's going to keep that going, and that's a tough feat to do, man. To consistently drop for every 2 years, most of your favorite rappers can do it, and he's been able to do it. So because he's, of course, headlining his first major festival, July 29th, I think it will come before that. And if you look at his previous album rollouts, I think Igor came out 11 days after he first started teasing it. Flower Boy came out 2 weeks after he first started teasing it. And then the album that he took the most time with to actually roll out, I believe, was Wolf, which took 47 days. But lately, it's kind of been quick. So I think that we can expect this, I want to say, within 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm gonna guess mid-July.
Mid-July, yeah, that's a good guess.
That's what I think it's gonna be.
Midsummer, have this track list going on for the rest of the summer. That's gonna be fire. What's hype though is that he's doing this rollout perfectly, and he has the whole industry talking. So you could make any sort of speculation for the track list release and whatever it's coming out with it. But let's end off the video on collaborators because that's something we always do here. We talk about features we want to see on this. So I'm gonna ask you the classic NFR question: who are 3 collaborators you'd want to see on this track list?
Oh man, this is so tough. I mean, I love what he did with Uzi on Igor's theme. Like the way that he utilized him was brilliant. Someone else that I want to see again would be someone like Pharrell, even if it's just for a production, because of course on Igor, Tyler produced everything, and as much as I love that, I feel like throwing in some Neptune sound would totally mesh with Tyler's vocals. Another collaborator, that's tough. Maybe give me someone like Kid Cudi.
Okay. I see you bringing in like that psychedelic and that sort of,
That
you know,
psychedelic
especially
sound.
like his harmonies on, let's say, a Tyler production would do beautiful. All of the humming and the way that he would be able
That'd
to
be
blend.
awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be a great cinematic placement. I'm gonna go for rap features though, a bit more classic rap. You know, I want to see ASAP Rocky on this 1,000%, and I know he's probably confirmed for the
Yeah, I think he's
Tracklist already.
confirmed. That's why I didn't mention him, or else.
But I mean, you know, we talk about Who Dat Boy, Potato Salad, and maybe even, you know, the snippet that we got from Freestyle 4, you know, and the way that they're
Yeah.
able to, you know, they're able to come together and, like, you know, their sounds are so, you know, unique in its own, you know, perspective, and the way they're able to come together and create something cohesive is really beautiful. I want to see Conway the Machine, you know,
That'd be fire.
besides Westside Gunn, because that's maybe already, you know, confirmed. I feel as if Conway could just glide on Tyler beats and offer something maybe a bit different than
Tyler's
hooks.
comfortable in that territory because, of course, you know, he was also on Freddie Gibbs' Something to Rap About. So he's kind of used to those rough and dirty soul samples, and he can pull off those collabs really well.
Especially if he's going after a rap influenced album, I think that would be a great feature to have. And at number 3, you just said it, that would probably be Freddie Gibbs. I mean, he, you know, talk about the consistency with Tyler the Creator. Let's match that with Freddie Gibbs, and you would probably get a fantastic track as well. I feel as if, like, also the type of energy Freddie Gibbs brings on a track is fucking incredible. And the fact that Tyler is really fucking with that lane now, when he sees the potential to go after it and maybe to blossom in there and, you know, bring his own production skills in there, especially after what we heard about him producing for Pusha T, that's maybe another collaborator I could see on this.
That'd be fire.
Maybe.
Honestly, even Earth Gang, just because I feel like Earth Gang and Tyler both do a lot of genre bending and kind of play around with their sound. So that would make for something that would be super creative, to be honest.
Man, so many things to look forward for this new Tyler album, guys. So listen, if you haven't already, subscribed, because we will be reviewing this new album as soon as it comes out, and we will be keeping you updated throughout the whole timeline of this rollout. It's Tyler season, guys. The summer's heating up. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.